Peanut butter sits quietly in many kitchens, often tucked away on a shelf and rarely questioned. It's familiar, comforting, and for many people, tied to memories of simple meals and easy snacks. But as you get older, even familiar foods can start to feel uncertain, and you may find yourself wondering whether something you've enjoyed for years is still serving you well. Questions like this tend to surface not out of fear, but out of care. You pay closer attention now because your body feels different, your energy responds differently, and your priorities have shifted. That awareness isn't a problem. It's part of learning how to support yourself more intentionally as you age. Peanut butter often lands in the middle of that uncertainty. It's praised as a healthy fat, but also criticized for calories, sodium, and additives. You may hear conflicting advice that leaves you unsure whether it's helping your health or quietly working against it. So today's conversation is about clarity, not restriction. It's about understanding what peanut butter actually offers after 60, what deserves a closer look, and how it can fit into a balanced approach without guilt or confusion. At its core, peanut butter is made from ground peanuts, and peanuts themselves are a source of fats, protein, and several important nutrients. The fats in peanut butter are mostly unsaturated, the kind often associated with heart health when eaten in appropriate amounts. These fats help the body absorb fat-soluble vitamins and provide steady energy rather than quick spikes and crashes. Protein is another reason peanut butter has earned a positive reputation. Protein supports muscle maintenance, which becomes increasingly important with age. Even small amounts throughout the day can help preserve strength, balance, and overall mobility, especially when paired with regular movement. Peanut butter also contains fiber, magnesium, and vitamin E, all of which play supportive roles in cardiovascular and brain health. Vitamin E in particular acts as an antioxidant, helping protect cells from oxidative stress that naturally increases over time. So from a nutritional standpoint, peanut butter can absolutely be part of a healthy eating pattern. But like many foods, the details matter more than the label. One of the biggest concerns people have is fat content. For years, fat was framed as something to avoid, especially later in life. That messaging created a lot of confusion, because not all fats affect the body in the same way. Healthy fats support hormone balance, brain function, and even joint comfort. The brain itself is largely made of fat, and diets that are too low in healthy fats can actually leave you feeling foggy or unsatisfied. Peanut butter, when eaten mindfully, can help provide that support rather than detract from it. But portion size plays a role here. Peanut butter is calorie-dense, meaning a small amount carries a lot of energy. That isn't inherently bad, but it does mean it's easy to eat more than your body needs without realizing it. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to keep dipping the spoon back into the jar without really thinking about it? That's not a personal flaw. Peanut butter is designed by nature to be satisfying and palatable, and your body responds to that. Awareness, not avoidance, is what brings balance back into the picture. Another area worth attention is added ingredients. Not all peanut butter is created equal, and this is where hidden risks can creep in. Some varieties contain added sugars, hydrogenated oils, and high amounts of sodium, which can affect blood pressure and inflammation over time. These additions don't make peanut butter dangerous, but they do change how it interacts with your health. Excess sodium can contribute to fluid retention and elevated blood pressure. Added sugars can affect blood sugar regulation, which often becomes more sensitive after 60. Choosing peanut butter with a simple ingredient list helps reduce those concerns. Peanuts, and maybe a small amount of salt, are often all that's needed. When you remove unnecessary additives, you allow the natural benefits of the food to stand on their own. There's also the question of digestion. As digestion changes with age, some people notice that heavy or dense foods sit differently than they once did. Peanut butter can feel filling, sometimes even heavy, depending on how and when it's eaten. You might notice this most when it's eaten alone or in large amounts. Pairing peanut butter with fiber-rich foods like whole grain toast, apple slices, or oatmeal can make it easier to digest and more satisfying overall. Context matters just as much as content. Many people find that peanut butter works best as part of a meal or balanced snack rather than something eaten quickly or absent-mindedly. That small shift can make a noticeable difference in how your body responds. A familiar situation illustrates this well. Someone skips lunch because the day gets busy, grabs a spoonful of peanut butter mid-afternoon and expects it to carry them through. At first it feels comforting and energizing, but an hour later, fatigue sets in and focus drops. The issue isn't the peanut butter itself, but the lack of balance around it. When peanut butter is paired with steady nourishment and regular meals, it tends to support energy rather than disrupt it. Slowing down and eating with intention allows your body to actually use what you're giving it. Another question that often comes up is how peanut butter affects heart health after 60. The fats in peanuts have been associated with improved cholesterol profiles when they replace saturated fats, not when they're added on top of an already excessive intake. In other words, peanut butter can be helpful when it takes the place of less supportive fats, but less helpful when it simply adds extra calories without adjusting the rest of the diet. That distinction often gets lost in quick health advice. Have you noticed how nutrition advice can feel overwhelming or contradictory at times? That confusion is understandable. Health isn't about perfection or following every new rule. It's about patterns that support you over time. Peanut butter also has a role in blood sugar stability. The combination of fat and protein slows digestion, which can help prevent sharp blood sugar spikes when eaten with carbohydrates. This can be particularly helpful if you notice energy dips or shakiness between meals. However, if peanut butter contains added sugars, that benefit can be reduced. Again, the ingredient list quietly determines how the body responds. When it comes to brain health, the fats and vitamin E in peanut butter offer supportive benefits. Healthy fats help maintain the structure of brain cells, and antioxidants help protect against age-related cognitive decline. This doesn't mean peanut butter is a cure-all, but it can be one small piece of a supportive dietary pattern. What matters most is consistency, not intensity. Including small amounts of supportive foods regularly tends to have a greater impact than occasional large changes. Some people worry about weight gain when including foods like peanut butter. Weight regulation after 60 is influenced by muscle mass, activity level, hormones, and metabolism, not just calories alone. Peanut butter can actually help with satiety, making it easier to feel satisfied and avoid constant snacking. Have you ever noticed that when meals feel more satisfying, you think about food less throughout the day? That's often a sign your body is getting what it needs, not too much. Another aspect to consider is emotional comfort. Food isn't just fuel, it carries memory, routine, and a sense of familiarity. Peanut butter, for many people, represents simplicity and care, and that emotional connection matters. Restricting foods you enjoy without a clear reason can create stress around eating, which affects digestion and overall well-being. Allowing room for enjoyment within thoughtful boundaries supports a healthier relationship with food. Stress around eating often does more harm than the food itself. Calm, informed choices tend to support both physical and emotional health. This brings the conversation back to balance. Peanut butter isn't something you need to fear, nor is it something that needs to be eaten without thought. It's a tool, and how you use it determines its impact. Paying attention to portion size, ingredient quality, and how your body feels afterward offers far more guidance than rigid rules ever could. These are the kinds of senior health tips that empower rather than restrict. As you reflect on your own habits, it can help to ask a gentle question. How does your body feel after foods you eat regularly, not immediately, but an hour or two later? That awareness often reveals more than nutrition labels alone. If peanut butter leaves you feeling steady, satisfied, and clear, it may be serving you well. If it leaves you feeling sluggish or unsettled, adjusting how or when you eat it may be all that's needed. There's no universal answer, because bodies are personal histories, not identical machines. What matters is staying engaged with how your body responds now, not how it responded years ago. As this conversation settles, it's worth remembering that aging doesn't require removing pleasure from eating. It invites you to be more intentional, more attuned, and more compassionate with yourself. Peanut butter after 60 isn't a hidden risk by default, and it isn't a miracle food either. It's one familiar option among many, capable of supporting health when chosen and enjoyed thoughtfully. Every day is another chance to care for the body that's carried you this far. Keep learning, keep moving, keep believing in your own strength, because aging isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. If today's message resonated, take a moment to subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, or share this video with someone who could use a little encouragement, because together, We're proving that aging well isn't the exception, it's the standard.